There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live composing show, late night edition. Man, hope everyone here is doing absolutely fantastic. I know that this stream is kind of impromptu, being on a Wednesday night, at least in Eastern Standard Time. But and I also know I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys in several weeks. But a couple like housekeeping things right out of the box. Yes, we just had a brand new baby. That's why I'm kind of semi-whispering right now. I'm not going to talk super loud tonight because I'm now officially a father of 5 kids. Kind of insane if you think about it. Our ages are 14, 13, 3, soon to be 2, and now a newborn. So our house is completely full. Our cars are full. My heart is full. And so part of this baby number 5 process, his name is Elias, by the way, absolutely precious little thing, born on Christmas Eve. Very excited for him. Tons of love in our family right now, in our house. Something I'm really excited about is, as part of this birth, I took off 2 months from work, a month on the beginning, so about 5 weeks, had a baby, and then here we are now on this kind of back end last 2-3 weeks. So while I'm not technically working right now, every once in a while I pop my head into the studio and I'm writing some music just to kind of keep the juices flowing and work on inspiration, work on stuff that I want to work on. This has nothing to do with getting paid. It has nothing to do with contracts and soundtracks and whatever. So super excited about that. Taking breaks is super important. Having rest time is so important. And even though I'm super sleep deprived and whatever, my inspiration and creativity levels are at an all-time high. Haven't taken a very long break. Had a lot of time to process and think and rest. And one of the personal projects I've been working on, which I will definitely make another video just for that to explain it because it's very in-depth. But one of the projects I've been working on is I've actually created an arsenal of every one of my favorite games in video game history. I've gone back to the soundtracks. So these are things like Super Mario World from the Super Nintendo, Chrono Trigger from Super Nintendo, Advance Wars from Game Boy Advance, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask, Super Mario 64, Earthbound, all these different things, right? Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, GameCube. I've taken this chunk of about 15, 20 years of game history, and I've gone back to the original soundtracks, and I have actually tracked down as many original samples as possible to the tune of about, 30,000 or so samples, which it sounds insane, but I've narrowed it down to have actually custom created. It took about 5 weeks to do this. I custom created one by one 1,800 custom contact patches using my programming knowledge from Simple Samples, and I converted one by one every sample that I wanted from the original sound sources. So this is the only legal way I can think of doing it, where if a patch is from Omnisphere or a patch is from the Play engine, East West, Quantum Leap, or Symphony Orchestra, or if it's from Native Instruments Battery, or if it's from an old synthesizer, or it's from one of the Korg VSTs or the Roland Sound Canvas, any of these, about 20 different sources, I actually meticulously went through and contact sampled every single one and created my own contact database, which is so simple, so easy to use. I can't sell it to anybody because that would be illegal, but because I have all the original sound sources, I coded them into this beautiful little package to where now, here at the end of the process, I can literally sit down with you right now, open up a blank session and start writing for a very specific game console. I can pull specific samples like a trumpet from Advance Wars and a music box from, Metroid Fusion or whatever. And I can take these sounds that are from those original sources and in a legal way use it in my own context. So excited about that. I'm going to, for the next 45 minutes or so, while I have you guys here with me, I started a little track earlier today for about 5 minutes and then said, dang, I really want to finish this. So what you're going to experience today is it's unscripted. This is all live. And I want to show you behind the scenes, not so much the technical side, but the power of organizing. And I have to, share a quick little disclaimer. I know my lighting is absolutely terrible because I don't usually do streams at night. I actually have a beautiful, huge, 8-foot window over here that you can't see. That usually is my main light source. And then I have a couple of spotlights. So right now, all you're seeing are the nighttime spotlights, and it's super ugly, and I'm like full of shadows, but who cares? We're here together. I got my glasses on because I'm tired, but I hope you guys can really enjoy these next 45 minutes as I finish this track and just show you a little bit behind the scenes of what does it mean to create your own sample set, and what's the power behind it. So what does this mean? Well, the reason I can sound like a Game Boy Advance today and actually write authentic music is because here we have my Game Boy Advance folder. So I don't want to confuse anybody today. So here's what the process actually is. So if I open up a new Contact instrument, I've done everything in Contact 6, and just open it up blank. Here's what we're going to see here. If I right click and go to my quick load folder, I've done everything in one quick load folder. That way, this is so easy. I literally go to my folder called VGM, and I have every console generation that I want to have, which is 3rd through 8th. So we have all the way back to Commodore 64 and CD-ROMs, Arcade, Sega CD, SNES, N64, PS1, Saturn, Dreamcast, Game Boy Advance, GameCube, PS2, Nintendo DS, PC, Nintendo Wii, Xbox 360, Nintendo 3DS, PS4, Switch, and Wii U. So what does that actually mean? Well, let's just pick any random one. If I go to N64, I now have all the games that I wanted to sample from. Banjo-Kazooie, Conker, Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong 64, GoldenEye, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Pokemon, all these, Star Fox, all these things, right? And then I can go to the one folder that I want. Let's say one of my favorites is Star Fox 64. And then these are the actual samples from the game. I did not steal these from the ROM. I did not rip these in any capacity. What I did is I tracked down using good old Google, and there's a bunch of sample databases out there that people have found. And I found the original choir sound from Star Fox 64. And then took those samples from the original sound source, and I couldn't even tell you what it is right this second without going to my database. I could type in choir on Windows, Star Fox 64. If I really cared, I can go to open file location, and here's the actual folder. So I found this inside the Kurzweil K series, which is duplicated by the UV U1250, and there it is. So that means within that VST, I found the original sound source, and then I sampled it myself by recording each wave file, threw it into Contact, did my loops and everything, and I'm pretty fast with that stuff now, so I can do it in about 2 minutes. I can create one patch. I did 1,800 of these, which is insane, but I did it. And so now when I play this, whatever it is. Now I have a 6 megabyte Contact file that loads instantly, is organized well. It's the coolest thing in the whole wide world. And I can load all of these instantly. And now I have these, I have an organized way of accessing everything I want from all of gaming history, which is so crazy. And then I went the extra mile and took all of them individually and just slapped them into the N64 folder. So now if I want to, I can pull any of these samples by themselves or load all of them simultaneously. So this is quite literally the fastest way I can possibly think of writing music without getting caught in the weeds of technology. And it has the smallest footprint ever. 6 megabytes. Crazy. Yes. Ben in the chat says, what a grind. Heck yeah, that was a grind, but that's what I did during my baby moon for the last couple of months. I didn't write music. I literally just did this because this was something I could do every day for an hour or two and just knock it out, because I knew that the end result would be worth it. So here we are. I'm finally writing music. And so the way this is going to work today is I literally have just pulled up all of my patches from the GBA folder. I want to write something authentically as part of that. And I don't have a lot of titles represented because I just haven't deeply done this yet, but I wanted to at least prove the concept that this is a thing. So I have Advance Wars, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Mother 3, Pokemon, a couple games from there, Sonic Advance, Zelda Minish Cap, and Wario Land 4. So collectively, it's only like 40 patches. This is probably my least represented console of all, but that's okay. Each one of these patches, if I just solo it, has this instant Nintendo sound because these are the actual original sound sources. Right? It's so crazy how quickly this sounds like Nintendo. But again, I will make another video explaining that because that was an insane process that is super nerdy and super technical that most of you won't care about. Because if you cared about it, you would have done it yourself already. or maybe this inspires you to make your own sample set. But it's kind of insane if you think about it. I have 1,800 samples, not samples, 1,800 patches, individual patches from all these different games. And I'm trying to be consistent by calling them their original titles. So this is Choir of Light. This is actually from Zelda Minish Cap. Excuse me. I have to go back and solo it. There it is. And each one of these is like 7 megabytes. Pretty sweet. And here's just a little something I started writing earlier today, and maybe together in these next 30 minutes, whatever. I know I talked forever, but I want to give you some context. Hopefully these next 30 minutes or so, we can finish this track. So here it is so far. So this is a fun little idea I had, and there's really no mixing happening here. The only thing I've done is the music box, which is from, let's find it. This is the music box from The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. And when I say it's from that game, it just means that the composer of that game used this specific patch from whatever the sound source was. It's usually an old Yamaha keyboard or an old, it's literally like 20 or 30 different sources. I pulled from old CD-ROMs that I bought. I pulled from VSTs that I've already had on my system. Actually, it sounds crazy, but I spent about $600 chasing down the things I didn't have. And I'm not done with my quest, but 1,800 is a pretty strong number. I could keep going, but you see how quickly you can go down this rabbit trail. And I do want to address this legal question because this is super important. Lewis says, "Hey, Stephen, would there be any legal issues if I use the original samples such those on clients' projects?" Okay, so I have to just get all the disclaimers out of the way here. Oh, I'm so shadowy. I'm so dark right now. These are not I did not rip these samples from the ROMs like many people do. That is illegal. You can't do that. You can't just steal from the original commercial property. But instead, these are actual sample libraries or CD-ROMs or things that I have legally purchased from the original source, from the website, from the store, from the whatever. I've gone extra mile to make sure this is all super legal and copyright protected. Because as I was showing you earlier, that one, what was it, the music box or whatever, the choir that we were talking about from Star Fox, it's from that UV plugin that I have as part of UV. So I could literally go over here to UV, open up UV Workstation, and right here in front of you, I can open up the original sound source, which that particular one was the U1250. I have almost all of their products. And then we could actually go into orchestra. It was probably the old K choir. I can double click it and boom, now there it is. That's the original patch. This is where the original composer for Star Fox 64, which we all know is Koji Kondo, that's where he got his choir sound from, is that synth. Whatever, you can't hear it, but you get the point. So that's what I did. I went one by one through every single one of these old patch, and I owned them. I have the legal right to use it in my commercial music. So the reason I went this extra mile is now I have 1,800 patches used in all of these old games, tracked by title, and now I can absolutely use these in commercial projects, which is 100% the goal. I don't know who else has gone to this crazy extent, but to me, now having access to all these old sounds is absolutely incredible. I don't have to think about the legal side because I've already dealt with that at the front end. And I gotta say, these strings are absolutely killer. These are the stereo strings that were used in Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. Come on, that sounds like Game Boy. And even though I don't have record of a lot of the other games that would have been written at that same time, there's a lot of cross connections that you can start to notice that certain composers will use the same patch across the entire series. So for example, my ear right now is thinking of Fire Emblem for Game Boy Advance, and I'm thinking of Golden Sun. I bet they both used, because those were Nintendo games, right? And composers talk, their friends talk to one another. Hey, what strings did you use on Zelda Minish Cap? Oh yeah, I used this. So that to my ear, this sounds so close, doesn't it? So let me think of Fire Emblem. I mean, come on, that's probably it. I mean, that's the strongest guess. That's the most educated guess I could make, is if another game was released in the same system at the same time, that it's probably the same patch, because they didn't have a lot out at that time. And that's so cool. Oh, I love it. So anyway, clearly I'm passionate about this. I could keep talking about this, and I have to make a video or two explaining the actual process that I did this. I think enough of you would care. And let me know right now in the live chat if this is something that would be really interesting for you to kind of see all the insane hoops I had to jump through to make this possible. But I don't want to talk anymore about it, because I want to spend the next 30 minutes actually writing music, just kind of experiencing the power of a good organized sample set. Okay, I have to do this because I'm a geek. You're all geeks with me, and we're just going to enjoy this moment together. Half of my time I got derailed when I found a really cool sound from one of my favorite games, and I just sat there and just like noodled. So I can't go any further until I show off my Final Fantasy VII folder, because it's one of my all-time favorites, and just enjoy. This is literally the patch. It just like makes my heart so happy. See what I'm talking about? There's like an instant nostalgia that just hits you like a ton of bricks. It just does. And not that I have to copy what Nobuo Uematsu did for Final Fantasy VII, but I now have the sound that he used. And I think the only one I got from Final Fantasy VIII was the strings. Right. I don't even know what it is. I'm drawing a blank of all of the Final Fantasy VIII tunes, but you get the point. But you kind of get the point here that if you want to sound like a game, find the original sound source and you will be so much closer, and you'll be so inspired by that sound that you're just going to want to write in it. I mean, I feel like I could just goof around here for hours. But like even this one, right? If you want to sound like Zelda, Ocarina of Time, find the flippin' patches. This is the Great Deku Tree. I mean, there's so many cool things in here. Ancients. What was this one from? I think this is the Dongo Cavern. Yeah, this is the Dongo Cavern from Ocarina of Time. Just the ambience in the background. Just a patch from Omnisphere. That's so beautiful. Like, things like that. I mean, come on, you want to sound like Zelda? Find the piano. Right? Find the original thing. And then you get to do it. My keyboard's not big enough. Right? It's the one. And so now if I want to sound like a game without copying the game, use the sounds. So anyway, I digress. Again, I could really go on that rabbit trail for hours, but that's not what we're here for today. I just want to kind of inspire you guys that this is a very different world for me. I'm excited to dive into it, but let's continue on this trail of writing GBA music and how I actually do it. I'm going to open up my patch here, which I've loaded every single patch that I have. Contact can hold 64 patches in one instance. So here we are. I have 40 something in here. So all I have to do is preload them because they're so small that you can load them all instantly, and then just hit solo. That way, if I want to duplicate a track, I have access to all of them. This one's from a bassoon from Mother 3. Let's see if that can fit into the mix. Let's continue with that vibe, right? We should probably continue with the strings. That's not actually the patch, but anytime I hear like an old strings like that, it's so close. I have the original, but Super Mario 64. Well, this was the strings from Minish Cap. I don't know if they ever used that theme. So I think my favorite part of this process is it doesn't really matter what I write note-wise. It's going to sound like the original console because it's just burned into our memories of what that console sounds like. And earlier, a few weeks back, I actually wrote an N64 track, and I wrote a GameCube track and a PS1 track. And this is my fourth one. And I wanted to just experiment by myself without doing live streams or whatever. I just wanted to try it out to see if the process worked. And it's making me write music so fast. And it really sounds like those old consoles. This sounds like Game Boy Advance. Now, the only thing you might want to do if you really want it to sound compressed, when you're all done with the track, you just decrease the sample rate, to be honest. And that'll actually crush it down to what it would sound like from the Game Boy Advance speakers if you want to go that hardcore. But I don't feel the need to do that because I kind of like the organic, more natural sound, because what I don't want is I don't want my music to sound like it's 30 years old or 20 years old. I want it to sound like it's written today in a retro style, because at the end of the day, I want to blend the retro with modern aesthetics. I explain this in the same way that Shovel Knight, one of my favorite games, is a love letter to old 8-bit action games, right? Action platformers. But they didn't make the game in an 8-bit color palette, nor did Jake Kaufman write the music in an 8-bit authentic NES style. He actually used the VCA channel, I think is what it's called. He added a more modern chip sound with the NES sound using a piece of software called FamiTracker. So he used an authentic way of writing NES music, but you see how he combined a retro style with a modern aesthetic. So that's my goal in all of this, is to push the envelope forward in game music, but to borrow from what worked in the past. That way we kind of have this best of both worlds approach. So anyway, let's keep writing, shall we? I got so unbelievably lost in my my tirade there. Anyway, let's get some strings. So let's see. Our first chord here is an F major, I think. So I'm just doing F major to E minor. It's actually an E7. Then a B flat modulation. B flat major. D suspended. Which is actually a super Zelda thing to do. That's actually Zelda's Lullaby, isn't it? It so is. I can't undo this. I'm so ingrained with Zelda. Great question from Braxton. I'm going to give you guys a quick link here. It's one of the sources. It's not the only source. It's a source. There is a very kind soul called G-Boy. So I can find it on Google real quick. He has this epic sheet. Let's see if I can grab it real quick. There it is. Found it. This is super helpful in my quest. This did not answer all of my questions, but it got me started down the rabbit hole. I'm going to post it in the live chat right now. My time stamp is 31:26 for anyone watching in the future. If you want to jump to that point, there it is in the live chat. So it's a Google Doc. So don't write on this. Copy it for yourself and edit it to your own needs. But it's a sheet. It's a Google sheet that... oh man, they went to the extra mile. These are people who have gone through the original ROMs, and they've actually found the original sound sources, connected them to the CD-ROM or the VST or the original synthesizer. So if you come to a dead end and you find a sound that you want, but you can't find a modern way of getting it, such as a CD-ROM or something that's been disbanded, then you need to start researching, okay, what company bought the rights to this original sound source. And a lot of times what's happened is, let's say Spectrasonics, right? Spectrasonics used to have an old album called Distorted Reality, which is what a lot of the Zelda music comes from, those old ambiences. But you can't buy Distorted Reality anymore. It's out of print. So instead, when they created Omnisphere many years later, a decade later, in the early 2000s, they used Distorted Reality as many of the patches within. So as long as you know what the original patch name was, you can search Omnisphere and you can find those patches and then sample them to your own needs. So you get what I'm saying is that sample sounds don't really disappear. They just get bought out by another company, or they end up on a different sound set, a different patch, whatever. So there's a lot of ways of finding these things, and that's going to be a fantastic way for you to track them down. And thanks so much, Prince. Yeah, Elias, you spelled it correctly. Cool. He's a sweet little dude. Anyway, I knew I was going to talk away this entire stream and not even write any music. That sucks. So no more talking. Time to write some music. I knew it was going to happen. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the cool questions. I like that a lot. It's a good 4-chord. So good. So, let me get my tempo here. I wasn't expecting those notes. That was a lot of 2 chords. That was cool. No, 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 no. Kind of like that 30-second notes. No, 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 no. It's unexpected. I like to always challenge the listener to change something a little bit from your expectations. No. There we go. No. This got a little sloppy. Let's clean that up. I was just noodling, but it kind of worked, huh? Cool, that's a great loop point too. So let me set my markers to 17, oops, to 18.1.1. And there's my loop. This music box gives me Chrono Trigger vibes. That's pretty cool. Take it. Have to be more sensitive to the fact that GBA couldn't handle a lot of polyphony. So I'm going to try not to use the pedal at all. Cool. That was actually a really cool part. Kind of keeps it hanging on that 2 chord the whole time, the B flat 2. And unless the delay I put on it, which is a 16th note delay, just kind of do its thing, you know. Yeah, those. That's just one of many spreadsheets that you can find on Google. That will blow your mind at what information is available to us now. And you could go ham. I mean, I only did a fraction. I decided to track down my favorite games instead of all games, but perhaps one day I'll expand it more. I need some kind of bass, right? I want it more orchestral. I don't really want to go to Wario Land level. Here's the piano from Mother 3. Here's the bass from Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. I don't know. That'll work. Fit. None of that fits. That's the most Mario Kart thing of all time. Game Boy Advance is not known for its high quality sounds, so it's a little harder to write with actually. I don't know what fits. This is fun, though. This is a really fun way to explore. Braxton asks a great question. Says, do I offer composition lessons via Zoom? I used to do a lot of coaching. That's something that I'm thinking about reintroducing this year. So if that's something you are actually interested in, it would just be kind of a customized experience for whatever you need. Probably more on the composition side or production. It could also be career advice, business type of discussions. If that's something you are interested in, then by all means, shoot me an email, steven@stevenmelin.com. I have a few people on a waiting list that have been reaching out in previous months, and I'm going to reach out and have some conversations over these next month, the next month or two, just to kind of decide what I'd like to do moving forward. But it's definitely an option, something I've done a lot of. I love helping you guys out. Man, that's so GBA. It's like, that's a terrible harp sample, but it has this beautiful muted quality that was used in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. And Corey asks, how much would I charge or something like that? That is highly customized to the person. So that's not something I would ever, that's not something I'm going to make an hourly rate for or anything like that. Reach out and we'll talk. It's a good fit. Let's move forward. If not, cool. No hard feelings. What should we add? I like the direction we're going though. I just don't want to overcomplicate this track because it works really well. There it is. Yeah, it needs that. And I'll go back and fix that chord later. Here's a quick way of just copying your melody. Go into that track and then literally just duplicate it. Right there. Boom. And that's going to be Glockenspiel. The little German bell instrument. It's ready to go. I'll customize my rate to $0. No. I have 7 mouths to feed now, dude. This track works well. It's a little bit too divided right now with its 2 different styles. So really the best way to kind of polish this up is to give some kind of beat or some kind of rhythm that's going to help connect the A and the B sections. So let's see what we have. I just have a lot to work with here. But for Mother 3, I have a drum kit. Pretty universal, standard. This is from the Roland Sound Canvas, I can already tell. I had a physical one in my studio for like a few weeks, and then I sold it because it was fun, but I actually wanted the VST more than the hardware, because with the VST, I could create all these contact patches. With the hardware, it would have taken ages. I don't want a drum. I kind of want more orchestral. Have a ton of N64 ones, but a perfect little perk. Let's put that in there. Boom, 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 boom. Just kind of gives a little rhythm. Cool. Let's do 2 repetitions. And just for simplicity, I'm going to duplicate that patch so I can do the same thing. Add some shakers or whatever. Is it like a tabla? Maybe a bongo. And that perk is going to totally make this track. So simple, but even that, like, it gives it character, it gives it some kind of edge. And if there's one thing I've learned in all of my time doing game music, is it's important that one track should mean one thing. Like, it should be one environment or one mood, one vibe. You shouldn't try to combine 2 vibes into one track, or else it's unusable. Like, this is one location or one theme, whatever, and anytime you can just kind of get one essence, go all the way. So close. Now we just need like a third element to glue them all together. Kind of wrap up. Probably the shaker. There we go, because that's 8th notes and that's 16th notes. That's all I need. So all I'm doing is playing in 8th notes. With like hard soft, hard soft, hard soft, hard soft, which I guess is 16th notes. Come on. Copy and paste that a few times. Be a business. And thanks, Corey, for sending the email. I'll get to you in a little while. Meaning like probably in the next few weeks, not like today. I'm not technically working right now. So the strings are awesome. It just needs a doubling of something, probably the horns. Just double it. Why not? Dum, ba, da, dum, bum. So close, guys. I'm like one element off from this feeling full. Well, you all are asking fantastic questions. If you have a question that I haven't answered today, shoot me an email. A 12-string guitar from Wireland. All right, I'm going to stop there for now. But let's play out this final little track. The whole purpose of this today was just kind of test out these GBA samples and have some fun writing something that's actually sensible and real. And likely what's going to happen is as I continue making these little demo tracks, I am finishing them, and I'll probably add these to my game music treasury, which shockingly, since I released that in September, it actually became the #1 best-selling game music pack on the Unity Asset Store, which is insane. It did crazy well these last few months, and I'm very excited about that. It has over 500 tracks in it, so if you're looking for something to put all of your finished tracks into to make some money on the side, it's a fantastic way of doing it. It's just packaging it all together and organizing it in a way that makes sense for game developers. You guys who follow me on this channel, you know that. You know I talk about that a lot. Yeah, so this would be a fun little track to finish up on my own after this, but it's like 95% there. I'll probably just kind of fill it up. And even as in the chat, Dunder Petrulin says, filter the perk and pad. Maybe. We'll see. With headphones, I can't really mix too well. I'll turn my monitors on later and do a little tweak to the mix, but it's not going to be much. But this style is super fun to write in. I guess I would consider this like a world map or, I don't know, what in the GBA land, maybe a title screen. It kind of has a title screen vibe. If you guys think of any cool title names for this track, I'd love to consider using it. And as I always do, I'll post the final track in the video as a SoundCloud link once this is uploaded and ready to go. So thank you guys for being a part for this fun little impromptu stream. I'll do more of these soon. And something I want to do in the future is with this system, I want to try writing in the style of Zelda, in the style of Super Mario 64, whatever, to a console-specific game. And I think that'll be super fun for us to explore together of how to use these samples in a modern context to write for these kind of things. So if that sounds exciting to you, let me know in the comments below once this is uploaded. I read all those comments. And of course, if you haven't subbed to the channel, subscribe. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun doing this together. So you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for hanging out for this evening stream, and I'll be back normal times in coming weeks. So take care. Thanks for hanging out. Let me play this final little GBA demo track that we wrote tonight on the way out. See you later. Thanks for all the guys shooting me emails too. Appreciate it. Here we go. Let me play that one more time with the proper volume.